feel like, because to follow up on your point, there are a lot of our brothers and sisters that don't really want to create or collab with one another, or at least they're hesitant about it because they don't want the other person to get ahead. How do you get out of that headspace?
Well,
it takes me back to an earlier topic point subject that we discussed, and that's the ego and how to set the ego aside. Like, how do you go about, for some people, because you get into spaces, you may get a rub shoulders with certain individuals, and it may get into your head. You may start to think you're bigger than what you are. How do you stay grounded in those moments?
That's a great question.
Jawan, we're going from a team aspect to an individual aspect when it comes to putting in the work. Same question, but for you, because it's from a different angle. How do you stay consistent? How do you stay motivated, grounded, and just want to be? How do you make yourself better in that aspect? I feel like there's always been a misconception when it comes to failure, because I don't really believe in failure. I just believe in lessons. I'm a firm believer in faith. And so I feel like in any type of situation, even though it may feel as though I lost something, you got to shift perspectives. You have to use that to your advantage to allow yourself to grow. Absolutely. Because I think that's where success comes from, those losses and those failures. Lottie, speak to what Higgs was saying with independent media now and just the media landscape in general. Where do you think everything is? Do you think we're headed in the right direction? What are your thoughts on it? I feel like it takes a right frame of mind, because I feel like a lot of people depend on corporations to provide them that safety net.
Which is understandable, because the corporations got the money, y'all.
But that's the brain. I feel like I don't want to get
so.
into a conspiracy bag, but that's the brainwashing. Like, we're not able to think for ourselves, to build a foundation for ourselves, because that's how you build leverage outside of the corporation. You guys doing your due diligence in the media world by yourselves, you figuring out how to navigate from one industry into another. That's not by corporate design. That's by the design of your own mind. Higgs, you navigating from so many different media platforms, like you had to be able to have that resilience and to build upon that. I think that's what people have forgotten. Do you think it's difficult to find that raw, authentic self? Like, because you're really living in your true potential. Like, while going through that journey and building that confidence, a lot of people aren't able to get through those doors because they don't have that aura, what the kids are now saying. You know what I'm saying? But through those challenges that we discussed in the beginning, it's like, that's how I feel like you build your authentic self. Because then when you shine, it's like, you're not faking, you're not flogging. People can fall in love with the genuine you. Like when did you guys start to see or find that within yourselves? And what's that? It's something that I was actually like talking to somebody about the other day, but like, when an artist is able to capture that emotion, that pain, and put it on a record, what's that process like? I'm sure for like writers and stuff who are professionals like you are, it's not as hard as everyone thinks. But to me, who's someone that dabbles in music, knows like that's a different level of skill. Yeah. So like, can you explain that process for people that may not understand? Before we get into talking about the album, the structure of it, I want to know, it seems like just from listening to it, that you're a bit of a lover boy.
I sure am.
And it seems like you've fallen in and out of love quite a few times. Yeah. How much did your relationships have in cultivating this project?
100%.
100%. Yeah. The thing I really love about this project, and it's something I touched on a little bit earlier in this interview, but it really like gives you all the aspects of love. And I think this is your most personable project by far, because you're actually speaking on, I feel like from at least the tone of everything, you're speaking on real life pain that you've experienced. And one of the tracks I think does that extremely well is your track with Logan Wood, someone that we've already talked about. Yeah. And that song in particular, I think was perfect because it's the back and forth between the male dynamic and the female dynamic and like what you're thinking about. And even on that song, it was very like, it's unique in a way because it's talking about you missing out on somebody you love. You both are in love with each other or have feelings for each other, but the other one finds somebody else. you know, and that process of moving on after, because the feelings just don't go away from either parties.
Yeah.
And it's a very messy situation. Talk about that song in particular, because I think that one is probably the most unique because it has both of you guys bouncing stuff off of each other.